Hey, something that I have not mentioned on this channel, or at least not discussed much, is the fact that I am a real estate agent, and I actually have been a real estate agent for, I think I just hit the 5-year point this month. And it's actually been a very significant part of my life the past 5 years because a lot of people get real estate licenses and maybe they just do it a little bit on the side, or maybe they end up doing nothing with it. I've actually been like a full-time in the trenches real estate agent. All that to say, it's been a really big part of my life, and because of that, I'm actually going to be starting a video series now on being a real estate agent, what it's like, how to find success with it, as well as the different facets of real estate and how to make money with it. About 6 months ago, I stopped being an active real estate agent. I quit, and it wasn't from a lack of success. In fact, I was actually coming off of my best year and a half as a real estate agent, making more money in commissions and closing more deals than I ever had before. And a lot of the people that I worked with and that knew what I was doing, they were really surprised that I chose to stop at the time that I did. I had a lot of momentum going for me that was, to be honest, really tough to build up to that point. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about why I became a real estate agent, a high-level overview of what it was like, and why I quit. I have literally always been into entrepreneurship, from selling candy bars in the cafeteria in junior high. Yeah, I was that kid. To trying to make a clothing line for skaters in high school, to creating an online lead generation business when I turned 16 instead of getting a traditional job because I didn't want to go get a traditional job. I've just always knew that I'm an entrepreneur and it's what I want to be, it's what I want to do. I loved everything related to the startup world. Now, coming out of college, which I went to for entrepreneurial management, of course, I didn't know what business I wanted to start, but I knew that for sure I wanted to go on a path that would allow me to start a business or start multiple businesses and just keep on that track throughout my life. So what I decided to do was to go into real estate. I grew up with my dad being a real estate agent and a broker and a real estate appraiser, so I was pretty familiar with the real estate world, and my reasoning was this. No, I don't consider being a real estate agent owning your own business. It's more of the type of business where you own your own job because you're not building something scalable that you can sell. But I thought, hey, at least this way, I'm working for myself. It's a step closer to owning your business than going and getting a traditional job. And not only that, but if I could find success at it, it could be the type of business or job that gives me the lifestyle as well as the good income to allow me to then have the time and money to start a business while still making money from the real estate career. Not a bad line of thinking. It was a bit flawed, and you'll find out more about that. Now, I know what you're thinking because I said that my dad was in real estate. But no, I had no benefits or perks from my family being in real estate. In fact, it would have been better for me had I had no family members in real estate, because it wasn't just my dad. I had multiple uncles who were real estate agents. Basically, there were a lot of real estate agents in my family, and that was a bad thing for me because it meant I got no referrals. Nobody in my network of people were coming to me to represent them in buying or selling a home because they were, of course, going to go to my dad or one of my uncles. They were going to go to one of the people that they knew had been in the business for a long time. So for the first couple of years, I literally got no network referral business. And for those who are not real estate agents, that's literally the easiest business you can get because you don't have to work on converting them. They've already decided to use you. Since I didn't have any referrals that I could work, what I had to do was grind online leads. That's really the only predictable way to grow your business. It's through online leads because you can always get more leads. The problem is, it is a very difficult thing to do. It's a numbers game, but it's also a game of diligence and persistence because, of course, you're facing rejection all the time. Even if it's a warm lead that kind of reached out looking for a real estate agent to give some information, they're usually still very resistant to being talked to. They just want the little piece of information they want, and then they want to move on. They don't want to commit to a real estate agent. They don't want to have a conversation with you. It's not an easy thing to do, but that's what I did. It was the only option I had, and I managed to close some deals that way. It's a bit of an understatement to say that I wasn't an overnight prodigy. My first year, I made $17,000 while doing real estate. I drove Uber on the side to try to fill the gaps, and yeah, it was rough. But I didn't give up. And my second year, I was able to increase that to $45,000. Things were still tight, but obviously that's way better than what it was the previous year. But the third year, things really started to click and change, and I actually made $70,000 as a real estate agent. Get this, while I was working a full-time job just for that year. And I'll go into that story another time. But the point is, I was really busy that year, and it was the first year that I made what I considered to be really good money. But then came my 4th year. I wasn't doing the full-time job anymore, and I made way more than I made in the 3rd year. And I may disclose what I made that year in a different video talking about different real estate strategies if there's some interest in that. I'm definitely not here to brag or anything like that. I just really want to share my story and hopefully help people decide if a path is right for them or if it's not, and give some tips about the path. So if you do have interest in hearing about my 4th year, the success I had, and maybe some real estate strategies, let me know in the comments below, because ultimately I do want to make videos that you, my audience, actually wants to see and are interested in. So that 3rd and especially 4th year, to be honest, I felt on top of the world, because this was the first time that I made good money, and it was so drastically different than those first 2 years and even the years previous to that, because I lived as a super broke college student. And then you heard I only made 17 grand the first year, 45 grand the second year. So to then go to making really good money the 3rd and 4th years, I was feeling pretty good and happy about my decision. However, that came at a cost, as everything does. Yes, I made good money, but in order to do so, I was doing a large volume of transactions, and I was dealing with a lot of clients and even more leads. I mean, for every closed transaction that I had, there were probably 5 to 10 people I was talking to that never made it to a closed transaction, because that's just how it works in real estate and in sales. And unfortunately, that volume of real estate that I was doing really started to get me burnt out on real estate. And there were a couple of factors that led to this. One of those is just the natural real estate transaction problems that arise. Naturally, when you're doing a real estate deal, it's not as simple as buying a used item off of Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. It's a big transaction. There's a lot of moving parts. Buyers and sellers' emotions get very high. There's repairs that need to be made and damage that can happen mid-transaction. It is almost never a smooth process, and that can cause a lot of stress, especially if you're hoping for a closing to happen so you can have a commission and get income that month, and it falls out because you can't control that as an agent. You can try to mitigate that risk, but it's never fully in your control. But the second thing that was leading to my burnout was the poor treatment I was receiving. People just don't respect real estate agents these days. And that's not me complaining about it, it's just a fact. I don't even necessarily blame people for that, but it is pretty frustrating as a real estate agent, because it means that sometimes you get the shaft. Sometimes you aren't treated right. And this problem was even worse for me because I was doing real estate in a kind of unique way. And so most of my clients were online leads, some of them that I wouldn't meet for most of the transaction or even the whole transaction. And that lack of personalization, that lack of face-to-face meeting, I think it led to kind of a dehumanizing of me, where people just didn't really consider the person that they were talking to, the person behind the profession. And so I had some clients who really treated me pretty poorly. And I really wasn't liking that, to be honest. But I'm kind of glad that those two things happened, because the real problem was actually a third problem, the problem that I pushed off for those 4 years. And that was the problem of I was not feeling fulfilled. I wasn't doing the thing that I wanted to do. I went into real estate for a specific purpose, and I kind of pushed that to the side, and I had forgotten about that during this time. And I guess it's not right to say I forgot about it, because I did constantly think about the different businesses I would love to be starting up, and I did kind of try to dabble just a little bit with things on the side. But because of how distracted I was for the first couple years with trying to survive, and then the next couple years with keeping up with the volume, I put so little effort into those little side businesses that I would never focus on them, and inevitably they would go nowhere. I went into real estate to pursue my dreams of being an entrepreneur, and that's what I'm doing now. About 6 months ago, I decided, okay, enough's enough. If I don't do this now, then it's not going to happen, because I have no excuse not to do it now. At that point, I had saved up a good pile of cash that we could live on for a little bit, but at that point, the only thing stopping me was myself and the comfort that we had created. So I decided enough of that. We're going to live frugally, we're going to live off our savings, and I'm going to go full bore on starting businesses and creating content around starting businesses, because I've learned that that's something that I have passion for. That path may not be for everyone, to completely just stop what they're doing in order to start pursuing their dreams. A lot of people may need to do that as a side hustle, and maybe it would have been better if I could have balanced that and done both at the same time. I just felt that I needed a shock to my system, and I needed to focus and show that, yes, I can do this. I can be a successful entrepreneur. I don't have to keep turning my wheels and wasting time in my life. And I'm very glad that I did. I'm loving what I'm doing. I will keep testing out businesses and side hustles. I will keep sharing those ideas and those results with you, my audience, because that's something I truly enjoy doing. I definitely haven't made it financially yet. We still have to live pretty frugally. And I've gotten to the point now, just over the last couple weeks, where I finally decided, okay, I think I'll start doing some real estate deals again, partly because some extra income coming in would be nice, but also partly because I don't hate real estate. There's actually aspects I like about it. I just let myself get burnt out through the volume of transactions. So I think I'll do a deal or two on the side here and there, but it's not going to be my primary focus. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into trying to find clients, because ultimately I am focused on being an entrepreneur and creating content about entrepreneurship and making money on the side. All that being said, I do have interest in real estate. I have a lot of experience and knowledge in it. And so if you have interest in making money, whether as a real estate agent or with other forms of real estate, make sure to subscribe, because I am going to be posting quite a few videos all about making money in real estate, both as an agent and otherwise. I appreciate you watching as always, and get ready for some great videos that I have coming your way. See ya.